Welcome to the opening session of the combined Eyes on Earth Roadshow and EO4GEO Earth Observation Summit. My name is Remco Timmermans. I'm a social media specialist for space, and it's my honor to present this opening session of the Eyes on Earth Roadshow and the EO4GEO Earth Observation Summit. Before we start, may I ask all attendees not to share this webinar link, but please share everything else that you hear, learn, wonder, or want to discuss on social media. Take screenshots of what you find interesting, ask or answer questions, provide additional information, or share your ideas with the world. When you do this, please use our hashtag EOE Roadshow for Eyes on Earth Roadshow, EOE Roadshow. So we will see it and help you bring your best posts to even more interesting people out there. Thank you all for joining us online this morning in such great numbers. The original plan, of course, was to come together in the beautiful city of Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, in the context of the current Croatian presidency of the European Union. We're grateful to the local organizing team to be flexible, to change plans and turn this summit into one of the biggest online Earth observation events in Europe. The objective of the event remains unchanged. We want to highlight the relevancy of Earth observation for Europe, but also for the world. Wherever you're joining us from this morning, welcome to Croatia, and thank you all for joining this historic virtual event. So today we have not one, but two exciting Earth observation events running together. The Eyes on Earth Roadshow lets you explore how satellite information supports scientific understanding, policy making, and business operation. The Eyes on Earth Roadshow especially wants to encourage interest in the Copernicus Earth observation program among young people, students, and entrepreneurs. Demonstrate exciting career opportunities in the space data-driven industry, and help businesses be more successful through the use of space data. The EO4GEO Earth Observation Summit brings together representatives from academia, business, NGOs, and the public sector involved in Earth observation and geoinformation. The goal of this summit is to look at future job profiles, education curricula, interconnections, and tools in the Earth observation domain, with a special focus again on the use of Copernicus data from a multidisciplinary angle. So this morning we have 5 very special guests lined up to welcome you to this special event this morning. I would like to especially welcome Dr. Blaženka Divjak, the Minister of Science and Education of Croatia, and Mr. Timo Pesonen, the European Commission's Director General for Defense, Industry and Space. So to kick this off, it's a great honor for me to introduce you to our first speaker, Dr. Divjak. Dr. Blaženka Divjak is the Croatian Minister of Science and Education, appointed in July 2017. She's been leading 4 major reform processes: the curricular reform of general education, reform of vocational education and training, enhancement of relevance of higher education, and excellence of research. She holds a PhD in mathematics and is a full professor at the University of Zagreb at the Faculty of Organization and Informatics. She served as the Vice Rector for students in study programs at the University of Zagreb and was twice elected Vice Dean for Scientific Work and International Cooperation at the Faculty of Organization and Informatics. She was a coordinator and a researcher in different national and international projects and networks. The area of professional interest and expertise, beside mathematics, of course, includes curriculum development, e-learning, assessment of learning outcomes, learning analytics, quality culture in higher education, strategic decision-making in higher education, the popularization of science, and the social dimension of higher education. Dr. Divjak, thank you very much for joining us. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Remco, for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great honor to greet you today in front of the Croatian presidency of the Council of the European Union. And let me warmly welcome you this way. Even I would have preferred, of course, to see you all in Zagreb and really to prove that we can be wonderful hosts. But I hope that we will have this opportunity in the near future. The conference Earth Observation Summit brings together policymakers and innovative companies and academia, as we heard in our introductory in this conference. And I'm really happy that we have representatives of the European Commission and the respective agencies, academia, companies, industries to discuss of the possibilities of boosting space downstream sector, particularly Earth observation. I especially warmly welcome newcomers in the community. Space technologies are the one that profoundly changed our lives on the Earth, but at the same time, they are shaping our future also. Space sector is of strategic importance for the European Union. In the last decade, space-related sectors grew almost twice as fast as global economy growth. Europe has historically been at the forefront of space exploration, investing greatly in space infrastructure such as Copernicus, Galileo, EGNOS. We are all proud of these successes, which are now the foundation and enabler of diverse space-related applications and new businesses. Indeed, space has a huge multiplier effect in terms of investment, and EU is well placed to capitalize on its strong space industry, since more than 10% of the overall EU economy depends on space-related services with growing tendencies. At the same time, Europe accounts for more than 1/4 of the global downstream sector, and in that respect, having lead in the world. The value chain contributing to the space sector, like all industries, has been affected by ongoing corona-related crises as many other sectors and actually our lives in general. But at the same time, space-related technologies generate opportunities for job creation based on new skills for the future. Skills for the future are actually one of the two priorities of the Croatian presidency we would like to emphasize once more. The one priority is future jobs, future skills, and another one, brain circulation. I'm going back to the brain circulation a little bit more. Anyway, EU space program as a whole has been fully mobilized to develop a series of initiatives, notably to mitigate the impact of the crisis and provide support to public authorities. Just to mention that the flagship EU space programs, Copernicus and Galileo, have contributed to informed decision-making by national authorities on fighting the pandemic and restoring the single market for goods. Today, we have even more focus on Copernicus. I'm happy because of that. And as we all know, Copernicus is the European Union Earth observation program, so-called Europe's Eyes on Earth, looking at our planet and its environment for the ultimate benefit for all European citizens. I think it's very important to really put in focus this all European citizens, so well-being of all. It offers information services based on the satellite Earth observation and non-space data as well. The information provided by the Copernicus services can be used by end users for a wide range of applications in a variety of areas, starting from the education towards the research sector, but also, and especially, I'm especially emphasizing that on in industry. Beside economic aspect, space sector offers numerous opportunities to support long-term sustainable growth by promoting social and economic benefits in line with many international agreements and panels. European space data, services and technologies may contribute to the European Green Deal, enabling Europe to become a global leader in the transition to the sustainable world, solving societal challenges and preserving the functioning of a natural ecosystems and climate by contributing deeply in policy-making process across different sectors like urban area management of natural resources, nature protection, urban planning, tourism, agriculture, forestry, fisheries, health, civil protection, infrastructure, transport and mobility. Croatia has a strong expertise in Earth observation segments. I'm happy because of that, especially geoinformatics and remote sensing sector for more than 30 years, with the result of having some of Croatian initiatives and companies included in the biggest projects in the field of Earth observation in Europe at the moment. Global competition and the new sustainable growth model require major transformations in industry organization, supply chain, jobs and skills, including in the space sector. The new EU space regulation asks for, among others, to foster innovation, development of downstream sectors, synergies with other EU programs like Horizon, activities aiming to foster public demand, entrepreneurships, friendly systems, reinforcement of European supply chain, and finally, but not the least important, equal opportunities to all member states to participate. The last one is directly connected with the brain circulation principle we are asking for, and with Zagreb call for action document we are preparing. I am sure that we can emphasize this brain circulation and equal opportunities for all in European Union. Free movement of researchers and innovators, so-called brain circulation, connects ideas of excellence with international mobility and realizations of researchers' full potential, contributing to the European competitiveness on a global scale. But excellence is everywhere. At the same time, opportunities are not. And we should work on that to give opportunities for all. In this regard, the Zagreb call for action on brain circulation 2020 is a result of the efforts of the Croatian presidency of the Council to address this issue at the European level. While encouraging mobility and brain circulation, it is necessary to underline the importance of additional measures for safeguarding fair outcomes for all member states. Transition to new digital and green economy requires investments in people. European Commission, together with member states in cooperation with industry, research organization and academia, needs to identify future skills shortage and gaps and to consider possible solutions and targeted initiatives. This conference is designed to present and discuss presence and perspective of Earth observation, education, and application for future jobs and sustainable economic growth. Also, it will put focus on future occupational profiles, curricula, and tools in the Earth observation domain. Our goal as Minister responsible for education, science, and space at the same time is to foster skills development in emerging areas, including digital skills and data analytics, in particular in view of the growing volume of Earth observation and other space data. Our presidency slogan calls for a strong Europe in the world of challenges. In order to remain strong, Europe will need to meet both its economic and societal needs. Technological progress and globalization call for new skills in order to drive and support the change towards long-term sustainability. A successful transition and creation of a resilient society will involve critical advances in generating new knowledge, but also the capacity to turn that knowledge into actions. So it's not just knowledge, it's also values, and especially European dimension in all that respect. All elements I mentioned are our starting point for an initiative for the Croatian presidency titled Space Creates Jobs That Make the Future of Europe Sustainable. Finally, I would like to thank the local organizers, so the Ministry of Science and Education, as well as Faculty of Geodesy, University of Zagreb, for helping organizing this great event. And at the end, I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a very successful conference.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Divjak, for your positive message of opportunities and jobs for people in Europe. based on space data. Of course, that's the main theme of the conference in these 2 days. So thank you very much for emphasizing that. For a second welcome, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Timo Pesonen. Timo Pesonen is the Director General of DG Defense, Industry and Space, better known, although it's still relatively new, as DG DEFIS, a post he has occupied since January 1st, 2020. Previously, he was the Director General of DG Growth, DG Com, and Head of Cabinet of European Parliament Vice President Olli Rehn. Before joining the European Commission, Mr. Pesonen was a special advisor on EU affairs to the Prime Minister of Finland, Paavo Lipponen. Mr. Pesonen is a Finnish citizen who holds a Master of Social Sciences and International Politics from the University of Tampere and attended the Harvard University and John F. Kennedy School of Government course Leadership for the 21st Century, Chaos, Conflict and Courage. Mr. Pesonen, I'm honored to have you in our conference, and I would like to give the floor to you.
Thanks, Renko. Nice to be here. And very much thank the Madam Minister for sharing her time and opening this conference. I participated in the ministerial meeting last Friday, which was chaired by Mrs. Divjak, Madam Minister, and now we are back again together after the weekend. First of all, I want to thank the Croatian presidency for co-organizing and hosting this joint session of Eyes on the Earth Roadshow and the Earth Observation Summit. Naturally, the European Commission has been strongly supporting. I would have loved to be in Zagreb once again. I was there in the beginning of beginning of the presidency in a defense conference. In my calendar, I have 4, 5, 6 events scheduled to be in Zagreb, but unfortunately, due to Corona, it didn't take place. But I'm very happy that we can do it virtually and have this 2-day summit together. Resilience towards the critical environmental, economic and social crises we are facing is in fact one of the strongest capacities promoted by the European Union. In the framework of space activities, we have a role stronger than one might think. And we have proven that during the crisis. I want to mention you a few things what we have been doing together with several space actors, and in particular with Pascal Claudel and his team in Prague. Copernicus, our Earth observation program, has a lot to offer as a valuable data source to underpin the ambitions of a greener society. It helps in reducing emissions, tackling climate change issues like soil erosion and deforestation, supporting the implementation of a circular economy and contributing to the sustainability of a bioeconomy and the protection of biodiversity. Even for the areas related to the public health, where, like, as I mentioned, the coronavirus outbreak, our space systems have been very helpful. Observations from Copernicus have helped us monitor traffic congestions at the EU's internal border in the first days of the crisis. You remember there were tens of kilometers of queues between several EU member states, while the trucks were carrying critical medical equipment and goods remained blocked at the borders. We have also, together with GSA, developed so-called Galileo Green Lane app to monitor the free movement of freight on green lanes in order to reduce waiting times at internal land borders and facilitate the movement of essential goods. Copernicus has used to map the temporary hospital facilities in some member states and is now being to monitor the assess of economic impact of the crisis. Satellite and modeling capacities have been used to map contagion areas, orient sick people to the closest doctor or to the testing facilities. Space observations have assisted the scientists in analyzing the environmental impact of the crisis, revealing possible links between air quality and virus spread. This proves the potential and versatility of the space program to contribute to the ambition of green, digital, and resilient Europe. Such a model is underpinned by the integration of data and services with innovative technologies, promoting business and jobs. Space data access through the existing dedicated platform is a leading example of such integration and offers a glimpse of the digital transformation we pursue at European level. increasing the use of space services and data used in downstream applications in many domains, offers a powerful tool for modernization in our economies and policy areas, be it for mobility, green energy, sustainable agriculture and fisheries, smart and less polluting transport. The list can be long. For this, we need to prepare the future generation of professionals in a large use of Copernicus data and services. New products, new satellite missions, and new technology, especially digital, like artificial intelligence, quantum technology, and high-performance computing, are essential to keep our industry competitive. These transformations do not come without a price. The future requires a guaranteed continuity of operation and continuity of investment, both public and private, to maintain our ambitions. The European Commission has just tabled its proposal for a major recovery plan and a powerful revamped long-term EU budget of more than 1 trillion euros for the next MFF. More than 14 billion is devoted to the space program, plus additional funding for space research under Horizon Europe and the new opportunities under InvestEU program. This will be a substantial boost for our space ecosystem. And we know that public spending in space systems can trigger a multiplying effect along the entire space ecosystem, reaching more than 2 times the original investments. So now, when the Commission proposal is at the table, we count very much on the support of the member states, including Croatia, and of course our friends and colleagues in the European Parliament, who confirm the financial commitment to match the political ambitions with financial means. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friend, I'm sure that I don't need to convince you how important space data and services are for our society and for Europe. As Madam Minister said, space creates jobs and growth. What is key is to raise awareness about those benefits and to train the new generation to unleash the full potential of our European space ecosystem. I would like to wish you all a very successful and productive exchange. The Commission will be listening. My colleagues are here attentively on the results of the 2-day conference and looking forward for bilateral contacts with all of you in the near future. Thank you very much, and Renko, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pesonen, and thank you for highlighting the relevance of Earth observation satellite navigation data for all aspects of society. I think it's really important to realize that we need people from all backgrounds to use space data for a sustainable future of all of us in Europe. So thank you very much for your time and joining us at this conference. For our third speaker, I would like to head over to Mr. Pascal Claudel of the European Global Navigation Satellite Systems Agency, also known as GSA. Mr. Pascal Claudel is the Chief Operating Officer and the Acting Executive Director of the GSA. And it is his mission in that role to ensure efficient and effective management of the agency's Galileo and EGNOS services, security, project control, and market development. Mr. Claudel has 30 years of experience in the space sector with a particular emphasis on customer relations. He worked both in government and commercial industry in roles ranging from launch operations, adaptability, to evolving customer needs, to implementing a strategic vision with institutional and industrial partners. Before joining the GSA, Mr. Claudel held several positions in Arianespace, Thales Alenia Space, Starsem, and other space organizations. Mr. Claudel holds an engineering diploma from the École Nationale Supérieure de Mécanique de Nantes, in addition to studies at the Centre des Hautes Études de l'Armement in France. So, Mr. Claudel, with this, I would like to head over to you.
Yes, thank you first, and good morning, everyone. Dear Miss Minister, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. First of all, thank you for inviting the GSA to this second Earth Observation Summit. Even if we are here virtually, we are here together to build a strong EU ecosystem around the use of EU space data in the field of Earth observation, but also in the field of navigation and telecommunication. Indeed, the synergies between all space programs are key to be more and more present on all the market segments with EU-ready market products and thus to contribute to the growth of our SMEs and startups through innovative solutions. I would like to remind you that between 6 and 7% of the European economy relies on the satellite navigation system. And so by reinforcing synergy with the other space system, we will increase this part of growth in the EU economy, and we will create additional jobs. For information, today, the downstream activity represents about 50,000 jobs. And as you know, significant new markets are coming, such as autonomous autonomous vehicles with car and drones. Also, smart mobility and smart city. They will play a crucial role in the European Green Deal. To have a major part of this market, we need to have a performant EU entrepreneurship network and an involvement of all EU member states. We have to gather our forces and our competencies. That is why we also have to develop communalities between space data and digital technology, like artificial intelligence, as my predecessor speaker said. Using space data and developing application, do not require any specific competencies in the space sector. And so the development of the Galileo Green Lane application is a perfect example, since the development has been led by traditional startups and SMEs. As you know, this app allows to ease the transit of critical goods at borders within EU. So every member state has the capacity to be an actor on these markets and so to develop its own entrepreneurship. To succeed in this way, you can rely on the GSA. The GSA is the operational arm of the European Commission for the EU space program. And that's why we are daily in touch with Timo Pesonen and his teams to define our objectives. The GSA has acquired a know-how to guarantee the delivery of services 24/7, to guarantee the security to protect space program infrastructure and services, and to foster the use of space data in all market segments. We can bring our user networks and thus increase the use of Copernicus data in the business area in EU. Today, Copernicus is more present in the research sector. So the GSA know-how is also an essential asset to support national and regional hubs and to develop EU-ready market products. This will contribute to create a wide and performant innovative ecosystem all over the EU. That's why the GSA works with each member state to better understand the national priorities and to include them in the GSA activities. My colleague will provide you with detailed presentation during this session on this know-how and how we can use to increase the synergy between Copernicus and Galileo, as well as the associated opportunity. Another advantage of Galileo and EGNOS is that they are federator to manage traffic management within the EU, maritime and inland waterway transport. It's the same with the rail. We can federate all national traffic management systems toward a unique EU traffic management system. Both will contribute strongly to the Green Deal initiatives. By synergy, always, between navigation and Earth observations, we will achieve a complete EU traffic management system. The future is in front of us if we gather our tools in each field, Earth observation, navigation, and telecommunication. With the Copernicus, you know what you have around you. With Galileo, you know where you are. With telecommunication, GovSatcom here, you can connect everyone everywhere. We have all assets to get a performant EU tools. To conclude, I would like to thank the Croatian presidency for its heavy work during this stressful sanitary period, as well as its full support in the GSA strategy to involve more and more all EU countries in the space activities. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you, Mr. Claudel, for your kind words. I'm really pleased to hear once more the word opportunity for jobs, for education, for entrepreneurs in your presentation. We're looking forward to exploring this subject with your colleagues and with many other people in these next 2 days. Our next speaker is Mrs. Milva Carbonaro, the EU4Geo project coordinator and one of our main hosts in this dual conference. Mrs. Carbonaro is the director of the Geographical Information Systems International Group, known as GISIG. She graduated in humanities and has a master in open distance learning. She has almost 30 years of experience in European cooperation projects. She's a senior expert in EU-funded project management and administration, in particular pilot training and mobility projects. She's the primary coordinator contact for the EU4Geo, Erasmus Plus Sector Skills Alliance, and the Knowledge Alliance GICASES. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but Mrs. Milva Carbonara, we're very happy to have you in our conference, and I would like to give the floor to you.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Remco, for this introduction. First of all, let me tell you that EU4Geo, we are very pleased that the second Earth Observation Summit became a part, an official event of the Croatian presidency of the Council. And of course, we wish to thank very much the Croatian government, especially the Croatian Ministry of Science and Education, our host, the University of Zagreb Faculty of Geodesy, and of course, the European Commission, which is supporting this event besides the Eyes on Earth Roadshow. I must say that the relevance of the European Earth Observation Program has been already underlined by the distinguished speakers before me in this opening session. So I'm very honored to have the possibility here to introduce the audience a little bit more into what the EU4Geo project is developing. EU4Geo, in fact, is a project which was promoted within a specific call of the Erasmus Plus program to create a sector skills alliance for the space geospatial sector in the framework of the new skills agenda for sectoral cooperation on skills, which is in its turn part of the new skills agenda for Europe. Since the beginning, EU4Geo has worked closely for its strategy, for developing its sectoral skills strategy. It has worked closely with the DG Employment and the former DG Grow, now DG DEFIS. And we started in January 2018 with 26 partners from 16 European countries. And I must say that we have a network increasing with nowadays already more than 30 associated partners. How we started our work, we started gathering the so-called skills intelligence, a comprehensive and user-friendly set of information, data, facts, analysis, interpretation even about past, present, and future skills needs in occupations and sectors. In fact, through these activities, we managed to gather information on which are the skills offered by the current vocational training and education systems, and on the other side, which are those skills that companies and in general potential employers consider to be the more needed for the present and future scenarios, let's say. So with this in mind, we defined our vision of our sectoral skills strategy, which is, in a few words, to ensure in the European Earth observation and GI sector a workforce with the right skills in the right place and at the right time. I must say that now we are in the core implementation phase of the project, which is composed by, I would say, 4 main pillars, which are really interconnected each other, starting from supporting tools, going through the design and development of relevant curricula for vocational training and academic education. Just to say you a few words on what we would say crown jewels of the products, the outcomes presently under development. Of course, we must start quoting the ontology-based body of knowledge, which is the body of knowledge is a formal description of a professional domain, which is described using concepts and relations among concepts. So concepts in terms of knowledge. All these concepts are interlinked and could be methods, theory, technologies in cutting edge of the EO/GI sector. Connected to knowledge and so to concepts, we identify also the skills which are related to the knowledge. Skills intended as the ability to apply knowledge. In this sense, it is important to say in this context that the revision and feeding, let's say, of the body of knowledge is being performed right now, and it will continue along the rest of the project implementation, and it is done through the involvement of experts organized in working group on 7 specific domains, including the thematic and application domain, which are very important also to involve in the geospatial sector also people from different backgrounds, let's say. So the call for experts is always open, so experts are invited to join and to review, collaborate, test, and even write new concepts. Another great pillar of the EU4Geo ongoing activities is the one related to the so-called, what we call the ecosystem of BOK-based tools. These are tools which are online freely available and are based on the BOK concepts in order to share a common vocabulary and to guarantee interoperability among the different tools. Just to make you a few examples, it has been released in the prototype version, the occupational profile tool, which can be used to describe an occupational profile, the job offer tool, which can be used to describe, of course, a job offer, and also now we are releasing the curriculum design tool. We are working on the curriculum design tool, which can be used to design really curricula with the possibility to specify it at the level of any educational unit. So not only at big course level, or at the level of sub-program of modules, but even at the level of granularity of lectures. Still related to tools, it is important to say that all tools allow annotations. So any resource produced through the tools is by default BOK annotated, so that this can be in some way also really searchable and interoperable. Why I'm quoting this possibility of annotation? Because this is really important for another of the main pillar of the activities currently undergoing in EU4Geo, which is, as I was mentioning, the design of curricula, both for vocational training and academic education, which anyway should cover specific content. So the training content, the learning content, which is being and will be adapted or whether already existing or developed within EU4Geo, will be, let's say, BOC annotated. Again, to allow also from a medium and long-term sustainability point of view, interoperability and searchable facilities. Particularly important is also the methodology adopted to identify which are those skills which most need to be addressed by the curricula under development within EU4Geo. How we did this? We did this starting from the analysis of real case business processes or work processes, as you want to call them, because in this way we could identify which are the occupational profiles matching or needed to perform those work processes, and which are the tasks and so the skills needed to perform those tasks related to the identified work processes. So overall, to make a kind of synthesis, we are utilizing concepts and tools for sector-specific curricula design and innovative trainings, adopting a really user-centric approach based on real cases application scenarios. So, the involvement of users is a key concept in general for EU4Geo, which main, let's say, objective, even from its title, if I would say, is to foster the user uptake of Copernicus data and services. I've coming to the tools more deeply. I would say that you will have in the following sessions of the EU Summit by my colleague the possibility to have them really tested with real cases and to see also how the BOC is used as the basis for curriculum design and other activities, or how the companies can make use of the BOC and tools for their work, for instance, as I was mentioning, to design occupational profile or to post to describe job offers. But EU4Geo is also much more, as I was saying, it's the series of curricula and the portfolio of training modules, which in our intention will be directly usable in the context of Copernicus and other relevant programs. And then important to mention that we are also planning right now a series of training actions for a selected set of scenarios in the three sub-sectors directly addressed by EU4Geo, which are integrated applications, smart cities, and climate change. All these to test and validate the approach we are following. Last but not least, we are very, let's say, concentrated on developing a long-term action plan to really ensure the impact of the project in the medium and long term, and to guarantee a rollout and sustainability of the proposed solutions. This is just to mention you the main pillars and activities going on. Of course, I remind you to the dedicated session of the EU Summit to know more. Surely the feedback from stakeholders at this stage is very important for us to ensure the engagement and to give a solid ground for the long-term impact of the project. So I invite you again to continue your journey within EU4Geo, and thank you very much for your attention and wish you a successful event in these 2 days. Remco, the floor is back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Carbonaro, and thank you very much for introducing us to this body of knowledge that is a central element of the work for EU4Geo, and I really hope that the few hundred people that are participating in these 2 days will be able to not just benefit from this body of knowledge, but also contribute to the future of it and the further professionalization of the Earth observation and geoinformation sector. So for our last speaker, I would like to go to Mr. Martijn Seijger, who is the organization of the Eyes on Earth Roadshow series, the other element of our conference. Martijn Seijger is the co-founder and director of the dotSPACE Foundation. With dotSPACE, he developed the Netherlands Earth Observation Cluster Program in recognition of the knowledge gap between providers and users of Earth observation data. To meet the training and knowledge transfer demand, dotSPACE developed masterclasses aimed at non-Earth observation experts such as transport, spatial development, air quality professionals and local authorities or commercial companies, looking for data to support their operational decision-making. Martijn is the project coordinator for the Eyes on Earth Roadshow project. dotSPACE is located at the new space campus in Noordwijk, next to the largest research center of ESA, ESTEC. Prior to founding dotSPACE, Martijn was the director of the ESA Business Incubation Program in Noordwijk for over 7 years. So Martijn, I would like to hand it over to you for the final presentation in this opening session.
Okay, thank you, Remco. Thank you all. Good morning, everybody. I know we're about with over 200 participants of this opening conference. I want to start with thanking all the previous speakers for their kind words, especially the Minister of Science and Education, Mrs. Divjak, and Mr. Timo Pesonen, European Commission's Director General for Defense Industry. We live in a world which is data-driven. We all know and feel the added value of space data. It's enormous. However, still challenges are to be faced. One of these challenges is to understand the full value chain. The value chain is built of many stakeholders, often crossing national borders. It is about the organization of the value chain and answering questions of how to integrate and transfer raw data to information products. It is also on how to engage with the current and future users of data services and products and discuss their needs to assess if and how space data can be of help. To bring this message across, we need to engage with the non-space experts across various sectors, across national borders. We also need to focus on the future generation and work closely together with schools, university colleges, and academia, as said by the previous speakers. And above all, the information must be presented in an understandable way and must be easily accessible. These challenges match perfectly the general objective of the Eyes on Earth Roadshow project. The goal of the Roadshow is to enhance the development of the needed skills and to contribute to the growth of jobs in the space data and geoinformation sector. To meet this goal, we need to know which skills are required to build and use information products, and we need to understand the different actors in the value chain and how they interact. When we know this system, we know which job opportunities might be out there. For the Roadshow, we have developed a low-barrier interactive program to match experts with non-specialists, all from a user perspective. Our approach is to start with real challenges and discuss these, and then look for the required skills and data sets. To get some level playing field in these discussions, we also deliver a few low entry barrier courses to train participants on the main elements of the Copernicus system. Those elements you will find in our program today and tomorrow as well. The Eyes on Earth Roadshow is funded by the UN Commission COSME program. In 2019, our actual project journey started. Unfortunately, in 2020 it ends. The first Eyes on Earth Roadshow was in Darmstadt at EUMETSAT, one of the entrusted entities. The last offline event was in the National Library of Tallinn in October 2019. Maybe you can see it on the image in my background. We have some photos of the actual offline events. Well, unfortunately, the Bucharest Roadshow was cancelled due to COVID-19. We hope that a lot of Romanian participants have taken the opportunity to join now. We are very glad to have online presence today and tomorrow to inform you about the added value of Copernicus and the opportunities which can be created with the help of existing support mechanisms. In the past year, we have discovered many cases on societal and economical challenges, guided by experts from the space domain, universities, and the public and private sector. We have discussed many ideas, hosted over 50 breakout groups so far, and we have welcomed over 500 participants from all across Europe. From the feedback of the participants, we know we have inspired many students to work with space data. We also have learned that presentation from a user perspective provide insight in required skills, some missing, some available already. We have especially focused on micro companies in this respect. From the experts, we have learned that interactive sessions with users contributed to their insight in understanding the user's needs and gave them insight in the barriers of decision-making processes of companies and institutes. We also learned that innovation with space data requires a two-way approach. Much effort has to be put in scouting for opportunities and address these challenges of future users. This requires strong user engagement. Simultaneously, the technological development has to be presented from a user perspective. Programs like this contribute to matching the demand side with the supply side of Earth observation data applications. Before you all dive into content sessions, I would like to express my gratitude to all the consortium members and the EO4GEO team, with a very special thanks to Professor Željko Bačić. Thank you for your collaboration to get our joint program to this level. I now hand back to Remco, and I hope you enjoyed the EO Summit and the Roadshow. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Martijn. And thank you very much to all speakers for opening this exciting virtual event in difficult times, unfortunately. But I hope that the spirit of the virtual collaboration that we're going to see in the next 2 days that will take us beyond the challenges of 2020 and look ahead to a great future of education, job creation, new business, because that's what we're going to talk all about, the opportunities that space data are offering students, but also aspiring entrepreneurs, existing businesses for the improvement of life after COVID. I wish all of you a great 2 days full of learning, sharing, brainstorming and creating. And please, as I said before, do not forget to share anything you would like to say, anything you learn, anything you wonder, anything you have questions about, any ideas that you may want to share on social media using our official hashtag EOE Roadshow. So for now, I would like to close the opening session and invite you all to the next session that you can find on the website. You can use the website to click to your next session, which will start in just over half an hour at 11:30 Central European Time. Thank you very much.